On mountains of Mecca bear witness that to the oneness of Allah do I testify. For all that He's given me, how can I deny? My purpose in life should be only to cry. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is His messenger. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is His messenger. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad Rasulillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad Nabi Allah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad Rasulillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad Rasul of Allah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the program Muslims in America. The religion of Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, and the majority of that growth is taking place right here in the United States of America. According to most reliable estimates, there are more than 7 million Muslims living in the USA. Muslims have become vital and valuable assets to the American society. So please join me as I travel around America and introduce you, my viewers, to a few of the many Muslims in America. And welcome back to the program, Muslims in America. As we travel around the United States of America, we're still here in one of the remotest states in the United States of America, the state of Alaska. And we're here in the city of Anchorage, and we're here with two of our sisters in Islam, Sister Jeanette and Jamila Chetfor. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
And welcome to the program, and we're really glad that we'll be able to come to Alaska and meet so many of our Muslim brothers and sisters. And I'm from New York, but it just never crossed my mind that there were Muslim people living here and that the Islamic community was thriving here in Alaska. So alhamdulillah, really it's nice to meet you. But just if we can start, I just want to know a bit about you and a bit about how you became a Muslim, how you came to Islam.
I suppose I was introduced to Islam by my husband. It had been a fascination of mine for a number of years. Growing up in Tucson, Arizona, there's a very large Islamic population because of the university there. There's also a very nice masjid there.
Mm-hmm.
And I, being a student at the university, I was able to meet many other students that were from all over the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fascinated by many things that I learned from them. And then I moved, in my third year, I moved to Anchorage. And shortly thereafter, within about a year, I met my husband. And
But let me ask you, before you go on, it's one of the misconceptions about Muslim women that they accept Islam for their husbands. So when you came, step by step and studying in Islam, were you doing that to please your husband, or were you doing that because it was something that you were believing in for your own self?
It definitely, in learning about Islam and choosing Islam for myself, it's something that I did for myself. I used my husband as a tool, and perhaps subconsciously, when I was actually looking for a partner in my life, I was actually looking for someone who also believed in Islam.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is probably true. But definitely I chose Islam for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that it suited my needs.
Mm-hmm. And so you became Muslim after you were married?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how long was it after you were married that you decided to become Muslim?
It was actually before I got married that I became a Muslim. I started living as a Muslim, learning more about prayer and learning. It's been an evolution. It's always a learning process when you, when you make a big change in your life like that. And it's still, we're still learning more every day. I learn something new, and
Right. What was the religious background of your family, and how did they accept the fact that you had become Muslim?
It was difficult for my mother at first. My mother is Christian. My father is... He was raised a Christian, but it really didn't follow a faith.
Mm-hmm.
He still is not following a faith at the moment. But my mother was definitely. She became a Christian when I was about 6, and she found it necessary to learn as much about as many different denominations as she could, and I followed her as her child and learning also, and so definitely I grew up a Christian, and it was interesting that even as a very young person I had difficulty registering things logically as a child, even at that point, and as I became an adult, I questioned it more and more, and just searched for something that I was able to fit into my life at that time.
Let me ask you, Sister Jamila, you were born Muslim, but tell me what it's like growing up Muslim here in America and here in Alaska, and what was your path of development to really accepting Islam completely for yourself, not just being born Muslim?
Well, when I was about probably 7 or 8, we first started going to the masjid that was here before, and we attended that one on a regular basis for probably a year or so before it unfortunately closed down, and we were unable to attend. And
the Sunday school portion.
Yeah. And for a long time I really didn't know that much about Islam, and I wasn't very well acquainted with the language. I learned the language that my father spoke, that was a dialect of it. But I really